adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends. Starring that jetty Jerry O'Lace, Rocket J. Squirrel, and his pal, Bullwinkle the Moose.
Hi, glad to see you again.
Likewise.
We got some great things on the show today.
Like what? Like what?
Well, you ought to know, Bullwinkle. You're in some of them.
Well, let's get started.
Minnesota, in the lower regions of the high country. In the middle of Lake Saldabain, Boris Badenov and his partner Natasha were enjoying the tranquility of unspoiled nature, the warm sunshine, the fresh air.
Boris, why you're coughing?
I'm used to breathing good old city smog, Natasha. This fresh air is killing me.
Then why we're here in this silly boat?
It's not a silly boat, it's a glass-bottom boat.
Sounds pretty silly to me.
Look down there, Natasha. What do you see?
I see funny-looking nose, little mustache. Looks very familiar.
It should. That's my reflection. I forgot to clean the glass. Wait. There. Now what do you see?
I see great big X.
Aha! We are in the right spot.
Right spot?
Of course. Look here at this treasure map. X marks it the spot.
Treasure map?
This is map showing the lost treasure of Monte Zoom.
You mean Montezuma, old Aztec Indian?
No, Monte Zoom, the big race car driver.
Was he rich?
Was he rich? Just ask me.
Okay, was he rich?
Rich enough to bury a treasure at the bottom of this lake, that's all, honey bun.
Yeah, but how do we get it?
Easy. We blow up the dam and let the water run out.
But if we blow up dam, water will rush down on innocent people in Frostbite Falls.
True, true.
Oh, Boris, you are mean, sneaking, no good Nick.
I know. Mr. Wonderful, that's I'm...
And so the two villains prepared to blow up the dam, never remembering that our heroes, Bullwinkle and Rocky, always arrive in the ta-da nick of time.
Don't be silly. I want them to arrive in the ta-da nick of time.
You do?
And I'm ready. Observe. World's only patented Dreamsville moose horn.
Dreamsville moose horn.
Sure, when I blow it, moose will forget about everything else in the world.
Including dynamite.
Right. Bullwinkle really digs that crazy cool Northwood sound.
But what about Squirrel?
For him, I got a gun.
Just plain gun?
Look, I can't be tricky all the time. I got other things to think about. Now let's put dynamite on them.
Meanwhile, not too far away as the crow flies,
That's me.
were Bullwinkle and Rocky, charter members of the Frostbite Falls Bird Watching and Pinochle Society.
Unfortunately, today is the day for bird watching.
Put down one crow, Bullwinkle.
One crow.
You spell that with a C, friend.
Oh, thanks.
No E on the end.
Get out of here, you smart aleck crow.
Bullwinkle, that's one of our little feathered friends.
Friends, my eye. I joined the club to watch 'em. I don't have to like 'em.
Well, here, it's your turn to take the glasses. I'll write down all the birds you see.
Okay, let's see. One tufted titmouse.
Check,
One black-capped chickadee.
check,
No, chick.
check.
Chickadee?
No, check.
Forget it. Put down robin redbreast.
Okay.
One yellow-bellied sapsucker.
Check.
No, cross that out. I can't stand a coward.
Oh, come on, Bullwinkle.
All right. Say, there's a big-nosed fuse lighter.
A big-nosed fuse lighter, male or female?
There's one of each.
Let me see those glasses. Bullwinkle, those are saboteurs.
One or two bees.
We gotta stop them.
And desert my bird-watching post. Never.
And Bullwinkle, our hero, mind you, refused to move. While on the dam, the fuse burns shorter and shorter. Don't miss our next episode, Floodwaters or Drown in the Valley.
Lucky! Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Ooh, don't know my own strength.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Once upon a time, far, far away, there were many people who lived in the kingdom of Nothingham. Nothingham was just like any other kingdom except for one thing. Nothing ever happened there.
What are you doing, dear?
Nothing. What are you doing?
Nothing. Guess what we're having for dinner?
Nothing?
Yes, under glass yet.
And so it was, year after year. Now, nothing more would ever have been said about Nothingham, but for one thing, one day something happened. A storyteller who'd been traveling about from kingdom to kingdom collecting stories came to see the king.
That's right. You tell me a story that's happened in your kingdom, and I'll put it in my book.
Knowing full well that he dare not tell the storyteller that nothing had ever happened in Nothingham, the king quickly struck upon a clever plan.
I must say, you certainly have a nose for news, young man. There now. Take a look at that.
Oh, what is it?
This is my daughter, a beautiful princess. Aren't you, sweetie?
Yeah, but I'm almost 32 and nothing's ever
Never mind. Word has it that she's about to become a keen story.
Say, this is luck.
Things will start popping any minute now.
Going to the royal tailor, he quickly had a fairy godmother disguise made for himself.
How's that, sire?
Oh, it's fine. Girdle's a little tight, though.
Dashing out of the castle, he found a poor but handsome young lad who was working as a hole digger in the fields. Then,
Ting-a-ling, ting-a-ling.
Good heavens, that's the biggest gopher I've ever seen. I'll smash him with my shovel.
Hold on. I'm not a gopher. I am your fairy godmother. With a tap of my magic wand, you can now marry the princess.
the young lad ran off happy as a lark. But the wily king took a shortcut, and he was at the castle to meet him.
Who are you?
I have come to marry your daughter, the princess.
I'm 32, and this is the first time anything...
Never mind.
My fairy godmother told me so.
You hear that? Fairy godmother.
I got it.
First, you must prove that you are brave. You must rescue her from the terrible troll.
But the terrible troll doesn't have her.
He will. Wait here.
Dashing to the phone,
Hello, terrible troll? Yeah, it's me, the king. What's that? No, I haven't heard any good jokes, but listen, I have a little business proposition I want to make to you. If you can get over here and say, 5 minutes. Now, as I was saying, you must prove your bravery by rescuing my daughter from the troll.
A troll!
Right on cue.
snatching the frightened princess, the troll carried her out of the castle and off into the hills.
There, rescue her!
Yes, sire.
Are you getting this?
How do you spell troll? One L or two?
Changing into his fairy godmother disguise, the king ran up the road where he met the young lad.
Take this magic stick. For one blow with this, we'll drop the troll in his tracks.
Of course, it really wasn't a magic stick. And the troll dropped to the ground. Then, taking the princess, he started back to the castle.
48, 49, 50. $50 for you to take a dive.
Anytime, Highness. Say, did you ever hear the joke about the traveling ogre who...
No time for that. I gotta go.
And he hurried back to the castle.
I defeated a troll, and here is your daughter, sire.
Defeated troll. Here's daughter. Got that?
Yep.
Now you must make your fortune, so you'll be rich.
How am I going to do that?
How should I know? Go ask your fairy godmother.
The king ran down to the royal treasury where he took a huge chest of gold. Then he buried it under a tall tree, and before long...
Fairy godmother!
Ting-a-ling! Here I am! And if you will push over this tall tree, you will find a fortune in gold.
The boy pushed over the tree.
Say, I'm terribly sorry about that.
Never mind. Did you find the gold?
Yes.
Then take it to the castle, for heaven's sakes.
The boy started off, but the chest was heavy, and the king arrived well ahead of him.
And he found a chest of gold under a tree. He should be here any minute.
Sensational. What an ending. He and the princess can live happily ever after.
So they waited and waited and waited, but the young man did not arrive. Finally, after 6 weeks...
You know that young lad with the chest of gold you're waiting for?
Yes.
was? Well, he's not coming. He met a milkmaid from Altadena on the way to the castle and ran off with her. Oh, no.
Well, I can't write a story without a happy ending. No movie fail, you know. Too bad, too. You had a good one going there for you.
The king flew into such a rage at this turn of events that he hurled his throne out of the window. And it chanced to strike a transient witch who was passing through.
All right. Who threw the throne?
I did. What about it?
This about it.
And the angry witch cast a spell on the king, changing him into a homely, scrawny little duck. Upon seeing this, the storyteller wrote a fine little fairy tale, The Ugly Duck King. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Hi there, culture lovers. Today's poem is called The Wind. Wind machine, please. I saw you toss the kites on high and blow the birds about the sky. And all day long I heard you pass like ladies' skirts across the grass. Oh, wind, blowing all day long. Oh, wind that sings so loud. Uh-oh. Oh, you that are so strong and cold! Ding-dong hurricane is what? Oh, blower, are you young? Well, there goes the poem. Turn it off! Turn it off! Boy, what kind of wind machine was that?
Your kind, Moose.
My kind?
Sure. Big blowhard.
Who was it that said, watch the birdie, Sherman?
Arnold Palmer?
Well, he might have said it too, but the one I was thinking of was John James Audubon, the world's most renowned ornithologist.
What's an ornithologist?
A studier of birds.
That's Arnold Palmer.
Rather than continue the conversation any further, I set the Wayback Machine for the year 1824. As for our destination, it was rather close at hand, New York City itself. We found Audubon inside an attic he was using as a studio.
Look, Mr. Peabody, he's painting a picture.
Yes, from the looks of it, he's completing his celebrated book, For the Birds. We moved closer to observe his work, but instead of a picture of a rare bird, the words, I quit, were scrawled across the canvas.
How come you're going to quit, Mr. Audubon?
My final portrait is supposed to be of a Zebrady's chicken, but you can't paint a Zebrady's chicken without a Zebrady's chicken.
You mean you can't get one?
I mean, I can't keep one. I've had 4 the past 2 weeks. In fact, I'm expecting one by Chicken Express any moment.
The attic door swung open, and there stood a messenger with a 5th Zebrady's chicken. After signing for it, Audubon set the bird on a pedestal and took his brush in hand.
Now watch what happens.
No sooner had he uttered those words than the lights went out. Ah! When I found the light switch...
Mr. Peabody, it's gone.
All that remained were a few bent feathers and a subway locker ticket.
Now, you see, this is what happened to all the rest.
Yeah, but we got a clue, Mr. Audubon. All we have to do is look for somebody who lost some bent feathers.
Those obviously came from the chicken, Sherman. What about the locker ticket?
That must have belonged to the chicken, too.
Hardly, Sherman. Whoever dropped this ticket is our chicken napper.
And by going to the subway and waiting by this particular locker, we should nab the culprit.
You leave it to me. I'll solve this mystery.
And so, with Sherman in the lead, we dashed to the subway and took up an observation post where we could keep an eye on the locker in question. There, unless I miss my guess, and it would be the first time, comes our mystery man. Sure enough, out of the shadows came a sinister figure who went directly to the locker, opened it, and took out a brown package about the size of one Zebrady's chicken.
That's him. Let's jump him.
Sherman, this is all a waste of time and effort. You see, but before I could finish, Sherman made a beeline for his quarry, who made an L turn into the A train.
Don't let him get away. way.
The three of us jumped aboard just as it pulled out of the station.
Look at him, Mr. Peabody. He's acting mighty peculiar.
Yes, I think you could call hanging from the straps by your feet peculiar. What next, Sherlock?
We better not make him suspicious.
And so, under Sherman's instructions, we too adopted this somewhat unorthodox method of riding the subway. But not for long. We passed through a tunnel and reached the end of the line, and the end of the chase, so it appeared, for our suspect was no longer with us.
It's no use. We've lost him. Now I shall never finish my book.
Our course of action is obvious, Mr. Peabody.
To you, perhaps, but not to me. This entire affair can be straightened out back at Audubon's attic. But my suggestion went unheeded, for suddenly Sherman's private eye caught sight of our sinister figure darting into a very unhandsome cab. We were off again, and this time didn't stop till we reached the waterfront. A dense fog had got lost on its way to San Francisco and enshrouded the entire area.
Never fear, Mr. Audubon. We'll get him yet.
Time and my patience were running out. Sherman, you are after the wrong man.
The only way to find out is to catch him and see. But how can we do that in this fog?
Elementary, my dear Sherman. What is this fog as thick as?
Pea soup.
And that's where we found him, in a shabby restaurant behind a bowl of pea soup.
Now we got you, you old Zebrady's chicken napper, you.
Sherman, cease and desist.
But, Mr. Peabody.
I have been telling you all along you've got the wrong man.
You mean the Zebrady's chicken isn't in that package?
Far from it. I pointed to a sign on the wall advertising the sale of tough steaks.
What's that got to do with what's inside the package?
Everything. And upon opening the package, Sherman found it contained an extra supply of very sharp false teeth.
Friend of mine loans these to me when I have dinner here.
Wasting no more time, we apologized to the man and headed to Audubon's attic. Along the way, we picked up another Zebrady's chicken, and Audubon was able to complete his book on schedule.
Then who took the chickens, Mr. Peabody?
Alistair, the cook. With that, I ushered Sherman into the kitchen.
Tonight we got chicken soup.
Zebrady's chicken soup. Alistair assumed the chickens were for cooking purposes.
Is that a picture of a Zebrady's chicken, Mr. Peabody?
Oh, no. That is a picture of a revolutionary spy-catching chicken. The type that specialized in nabbing Tory spies.
I never heard of that kind of chicken before, Mr. Peabody.
You never heard of chicken catch a Tory?
Last time, you remember, Boris and Natasha were preparing to blow up a dam in order to find hidden treasure.
Yes, it's the lost treasure of Monte.
Not now it isn't, darling.
What you mean, Natasha? He said like a good straight man.
Now it's the found treasure of Montezuma.
Oh, boy.
And although our hero, Bullwinkle, spotted the villains while birdwatching, he refused to go after them.
Never!
But this is more important than bird watching, Bullwinkle. If they blow up the dam, think of what'll happen to all those poor people in Frostbite Falls.
Those poor people will get mighty soggy.
Well, let's go.
Not so fast, Rock. We're the heroes, remember? So the heroes always arrive in the ta-da nick of time. I don't want to show up early and spoil the suspense.
And I don't want to show up late and get blown up.
You got a point there. Heck with the suspense. Let's go!
But what Bullwinkle and Rocky didn't know was that Boris Badenov was waiting for them with not one but two weapons, a Dreamsville moose horn and a squirrel gun.
I blow moose horn and moose forgets all about dynamite until kaboom!
And what about squirrel? He also get kaboom?
No, for him is pum-pum with squirrel gun.
And so as Bullwinkle and Rocky dashed under the dam and reached for the fuse, Boris raised the fatal Dreamsville moose horn to his lips and
the one and the two and...
Boris.
Natasha, I think I've lost my lip.
I think you got a duck horn instead of a moose horn.
Could be you're right. Kinda crazy sound, though.
Real cool, Daddy-O, but it doesn't stop moose and squirrel.
Don't worry, I still got squirrel gun.
So use it.
Okay, ready, aim, fire. What's that?
Boris, we forgot. There's no violence allowed on television anymore.
Well, Bullwinkle, we did it. We arrived in the ta-da nick of time.
We always arrive in the ta-da nick of time. The ta-da nick of time.
You said that.
I know, I just love to go ta-da.
Well, all is lost, Natasha. Might as well throw away the treasure map.
Why not just pull the plug at the bottom of lake?
Pull the plug?
Yes, look.
Raskolnikov!
Sure enough, the treasure map indicated a large plug at the bottom of Saldabane Lake.
See, the chain leads to this float in the middle of the lake.
So a little later, Boris was at the float and tugging at the chain that would empty the lake and reveal the lost treasure of Montezuma. A little later, he was still tugging. Much later, he was still tugging.
Gee, I wonder what happened to the saboteurs who were trying to blow up the dam.
Well, they wouldn't hang around.
Help! SOS, help!
What's that?
Sounds like somebody in trouble on the lake. Come on!
And within a few minutes, Bullwinkle had scratched his way to the side of Boris's boat.
What's all the trouble?
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Spencer Traceback, the famous actor.
Yeah, I saw you in that picture about the old man fighting with a great big fish. Keen picture.
Thanks, kid. But I got a fish here that's even bigger and I need help to drag it in.
Well, I'm your man.
Moose.
Yeah, Moose.
And Bullwinkle began pulling on the chain, which would pull the plug, which would empty the lake, which would uncover the treasure, which would...
Mister, you got a bad case of which wood's there.
I know. Anyway, be with us next time for A Leak in the Lake or The Drain Maker.
Well, I guess that about wraps up another Rocky show.
Certainly hope you enjoyed it. I did. I always say...
Bullwinkle, time for us to go.
Already? Okay, but first, here are some of the people who made this show impossible.
That's not all.
The fingers get tired. Oop! Got away from me again.
Well, see you next time. Ready, Bullwinkle? Hurry!
Oop!